Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Osama Sayyid from islamafterahmadiyya.com. Inshallah, I hope all the listeners are well and doing well in their lives, bismillah. Today's video is relatively short. It's mainly, I would describe it as, I'll be talking about one-way loyalty. Best way to describe it, I guess, would be one-way loyalty. And many of you probably would have already guessed what that means. It's one-way loyalty in terms of many Ahmadi people, well-intentioned Ahmadi people. They have good intention. They're thinking they're following true Islam and everything. So they think that this is a group, that has been set up by Allah. So they listen to everything that the organization tells them. Their leader, Mirza Masroor, they listen to everything he says. They listen to everything their local, not local authority, but whoever is in charge in their local area, whatever, when they give them, commands or whatever, they do as they're told basically, and they think they're doing the right thing, So obviously, it's good to have a good intention. I respect the fact that some Ahmadis, you've got a good intention. To do, because you think you're doing the right thing, which is good, because it shows you have some sincerity within you, which is a very important thing. As a Muslim, you need to have you have to be a sincere person. So you have sincerity, but of course, as all the listeners know, obviously if you've seen or heard our other videos, unfortunately it's misguided sincerity, misplaced sincerity. And the issue of one-way loyalty, it really angers me. It angers me a lot, and it used to anger me even towards the latter days. The end days before I left Ahmadiyya, because obviously by that time it's not just the beliefs of Mirza Ghulam that made me leave it. It's also things that I saw which were very, they just didn't fit with being a true Islamic group and the best Muslim group. It didn't fit at all, and one-way loyalty is something that is despicable, because, as I said earlier, you probably guessed, Ahmadis are expected to give all their loyalty to the organization. Parents choose Ahmadiyya over their children. Wives or husbands choose Ahmadiyya over their other spouse, or over their wife, or over their husband. Families get ripped to pieces. Brothers and sisters stop talking to each other. Uncles, aunts stop talking to whoever left. Cousins and so forth. And friends, of course. The friends are the first ones to go, or the friends you had in Ahmadiyya, they're gone as soon as you say I've left Ahmadiyya. Most of the friends you had who are Ahmadi, they don't talk to you anymore. Just like that. Flick of a finger, you could have known them for 20 years. Next day, they're not going to talk to you. Because, once again, they're told to have this undying loyalty towards the organization. And obviously this is un-Islamic, because in Islam we are not ever supposed to cut our ties with people. We're supposed to actually put effort to keep those ties healthy, to keep, say a nice thing to your brother, your friend, your sister, your cousin, your aunt. And let's not forget, the people who leave Ahmadiyya, they don't leave Islam, they're still in Islam. So of course it's even worse when the Ahmadiyya organization tells their followers to cut ties with people who leave Ahmadiyya. It's even worse, because they're actually still Muslim, but they choose to stay away from the highly doubtful and unacceptable beliefs of this man Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and so therefore they stay away from the organization, because they're trying to keep their Islam pure. They want to follow the real Islam. They don't want to follow Ahmadiyya. And so it's even worse when the Ahmadi people are forced or pressurized to cut ties with their friends or family member who left Ahmadiyya and is just a normal Muslim now. It's even worse. And this stuff, is mentioned in the Quran more than once. And even in Friday khutbah, you probably hear, I don't know if you hear it in the Ahmadi khutbah, but you hear it in the normal Muslim khutbah many times, that, don't cut family ties, and so unfortunately, this one-way loyalty, it's despicable, because the Ahmadiyya organization doesn't deserve it, and they don't return it in most cases to other people. to the actual smaller members, the regular members, who are obviously smaller in terms of the organization much bigger than them. They don't return it to them. They don't get it back. And it's very sad because, for example, you could, you probably all know what Qada board is and all this stuff, so you've heard of that before. It's the sort of court system within the Ahmadiyya organization, their own little court system, which in theory sounds great, but it's not. The cases, I've heard a couple of cases that have turned out extremely, have proven to be run very corruptly, actually, and so they're not just at all. So, for example, if you have a case brought against you, or maybe you're involved in a case and you're before this Qada board, then let's say some corruption happens, maybe some members of that board, they know a party or something, one of the people who are, a party to the case, and obviously because they know them, they favor them, and the case goes in their favor and against you, and you're actually innocent. And let's say you put up a fight, you put up an argument, you say, no, I'm not gonna accept this. This is corrupt. This is against Islam. This is against all justice. I'm not gonna have this. I'm not gonna have this. And you keep on fighting, arguing, basically. You'll probably get kicked out. You'll probably get kicked out, and all that loyalty that you were giving them, all that loyalty that you gave the Ahmadiyya organization, goes down the drain into the toilet, basically, and just flushed. You're flushed away. Who cares about you? You're flushed away, and who cares about you? All that loyalty that you gave, you sold your family out. Let's say you sold your brother, your sister out. You sold if you're a parent, you sold your child, your daughter, your son. If you're an uncle or whatever, you sold your relatives out, your family members out for the sake of this organization. And look what they did to you. Look what they did to you. Look at the corrupt nature. Look at the one-way loyalty. You gave all that, and what did you get back? It's only when you put through that test, you put through that experience, then you realize that you got nothing back. A lot of Ahmadis, they'll never go through an experience where they're actually where it's actually their loyalty is put to the test, and the return loyalty from the Ahmadiyya organization to them is put to the test. A lot of Ahmadis haven't, and they probably won't go through that. But those who have gone through it, they just get labeled as, they had an administrative problem. You get labeled as someone who had an administrative problem. So you give all that loyalty, and you think, like, let's say you give your friend all this loyalty, you're there for him when he's in trouble, you're there for him when he needs money, you're there for him when he's moving house, he's decorating, he needs urgent money, let's say his parent or relative is sick, and he asks you, can you lend me 10,000, can you lend me 5,000, whatever, and you're there. And the moment you come and ask that friend for something similar, nothing more, just a similar amount of loyalty back, and he cuts you clean, just like someone's cutting a branch off a tree and just throws the branch into the street. Cuts clean, doesn't offer you no loyalty back. This is what a lot of Ahmadi people and ex-Ahmadi people, they've gone through this experience. I mean, some people, they actually remained in Ahmadiyya. I know a couple of people who actually remained in Ahmadiyya, and as usual, I never say any names or anything, and I'm not going to go into details about their thing because I don't want to hint at who they are or anything. But it's just, I'm just giving an overview, a general overview, that they remained in Ahmadiyya even after having some severe injustice done to them. And unfortunately, I don't know why. Maybe they bury their head under the carpet or in the sand or whatever these sort of terms, these sort of sayings go. They buried their head and they just tried to pretend that, it's just a couple of corrupt people who did this to me. It's not the organization. The organization is perfect and it's from Allah and all this sort of thing. Or maybe they don't have any courage. Some people, they don't have any courage. I don't hold it against them. I'm just saying they don't have any courage to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to put up with this injustice. What sort of organization set up by Allah is this? Organization based on the Mahdi and this return of Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. What sort of organization is this? This is not a godly organization. This is a material organization, run like any other social club. Any sort of social club where the big boys, the big rich people, they get preferential treatment, and the regular people, they just get pushed to the side. And if you don't like it, well then leave. Who cares? We're not going to miss anything. Leave. But the big boys, they probably, I'm sure they don't get, bad decisions made against them, because what's going to happen with the big boys? They make a big fuss and they make a lot of noise. A lot of people will hear about it, and it's going to be a big mess basically. So yeah, as I say, you've got I've got my own personal experience of this stuff. I mean, most people that I knew in the Ahmadiyya organization, they don't talk to me anymore, and it's no problem, it's no harm, because you know what? I like real people around me. I like genuine people. I like people with courage, people with integrity and honesty. And this is all these are all the requirements of a good Muslim: to have courage, integrity, honesty, to stand up for the truth. If I left Ahmadiyya, telling you I left Ahmadiyya because I've read Mirza Ghulam's books and I've found despicable things that are un-Islamic, and there's no way this man can be the Mahdi, so therefore if he's not the Mahdi, I cannot be part of this Ahmadiyya organization, and I tell you this, and you still decide to not talk to me again, then I don't need you in my life. I don't need you in my life, because I like people who have courage, integrity, honesty. I like these sort of people, and these are the characteristics of any real Muslim. A true Muslim has these characteristics: stands up for justice, stands up for truth, doesn't shy away and say, oh no, they've told me to shut up, I'm not gonna say that this guy's a good man. No, I'll just be quiet. I don't need you in my life. I don't need to know you. I don't want to see you again. No problem at all. I like to have genuine people in my life, and this is unfortunately an experience I had, is that I stood up for somebody in the Ahmadiyya organization. Allegedly they did something really wrong. There was any Ahmadis or ex-Ahmadis listening, you'd know that they circulate people's names basically, and they say either don't take chanda from them or don't talk to them or whatever. So this person's name was circulated, and I was in one of those meetings one day, the Ahmadi meetings, local meeting, and they said this person's name, and I immediately stood up because I was disgusted to begin. I was disgusted from the very beginning when they started reading out people's names, and they started saying this person, don't take gender from them, this person, I was disgusted, because in Islam this is so un-Islamic. This is reverse. We're going back in reverse now, before Islam times, pre-Islamic times now. You haven't learned nothing from Islam. You're supposed to cover up people's faults. You're supposed to cover up people's faults. When you find out that someone has done something wrong, you cover it up. You go and talk to them personally if you want to. If you feel someone's done something wrong, go talk to them personally in private. Don't embarrass them. Don't humiliate them. What does the Ahmadiyya organization do? It humiliates people. It ruins people's reputations. It makes everyone plant a little black dot in their brain now. Every time that person's name comes up, they remember that black thing. They remember that bad thing that they heard in the meeting. Every single time. So now that person, let's say they did make a mistake. All of us have made mistakes. All of you listeners have made mistakes. All Ahmadis have made mistakes. Mirza Masroor has made 1,000,000 mistakes and he knows it. All of you, all of us have made mistakes. But just because people don't see you making that mistake, some people, they think, oh, no one saw me do it, so everyone thinks I'm squeaky clean, so I can act like I'm like God or something. I'm like a prophet, no mistakes. Ma'asum. I don't make any mistakes. No, we all make mistakes. We're supposed to cover up that fault, because when that person, let's say they repent, or they realize that, oh my God, I made such an idiotic decision, why did I do that for? It was so out of character, I didn't mean to do that, and they try to change their life, and they do change their life, they've still got all the Ahmadi people who heard about them and their name being circulated in that meeting. So those people, even 20 years down the line, they'll say, oh, do you remember so-and-so? Remember when they said in the meeting that he did such and such thing? Or she did such and such thing? Even if it's a girl and they found her with a boy or something, that's haram. We know that's haram. I'm against it, you're against it. We know that's haram. Go and talk to them in private. Tell them what is going on here. What are you doing? Do you know that this is haram? If the person is someone that they could marry, why don't you go tell them, meet the parents, go and try to get engaged, get married. That's what you're supposed to do. Not just try and wipe the floor with their name. Because one day those people will fix themselves up, they will change their life, but they've still got all of you, all the Ahmadi people with the memory of, oh, that girl, they saw her with a boy, or that boy, we saw her with a girl, or that guy, they saw him drinking alcohol, or taking a drug, or stealing, or something like this. You do tawbah to Allah. You ask Allah's forgiveness. You don't ask Mirza Masroor's forgiveness. You don't need to write letters to Huzur to tell him, please forgive me, and all this rubbish. You do dua to your Creator. Your Creator who is above Mirza Masroor, who is a human being just like you, who is above Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who is a human being and a false prophet, not just like you, of course, but he was a human being just like you and me. You do dua to Allah and you do istighfar to Allah, to your Creator, the supreme, the just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't turn to Mirza Masroor or any of these people and you let them humiliate you, and they say to you, oh, write letters and write 20 letters until we forgive you. Keep writing letters until we forgive you. To hell with you and to hell with that. That's what you say to them. You say, I do tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't give a damn if you don't accept it. I do tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's the judge of all human beings. And Allah always says, إِنَّ الْأَعْمَالَ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. All your actions are judged by your intention. So you may have even killed somebody, but it was a total accident. Total accident. God will not say to you, yes, you did murder, you committed murder. Allah will not say that to you. Even though a human being may say that to you. Allah is a just being and sees and knows all our intentions. So you have, I come back to this individual story that this experience that I had. So this person, I stood up immediately. Obviously, as I said, from the beginning, I was disgusted when they kept saying people's names. But when I heard this person's name, I was so surprised. I stood up in the middle of the meeting and I said to the people, no. I said, don't say that about that man. That man's a good man. He's a good Muslim. Whatever mistake he may have done, but he's a good Muslim. So don't circulate his name like this. Don't say anything like that. You're putting bad ideas into people's minds. You're basically planting into people's minds that this guy did something wrong. Even though they didn't actually say exactly what he supposedly did, allegedly did. You have already planted. It's too late now. You've planted in their brain that he's done something wrong, sufficiently bad, sufficiently unacceptable that his name has to be read out here, that maybe don't take gender from him, don't talk to him, whatever it is, whatever sanctions they see fit to place upon him. So I stood up immediately in this meeting, and all the Ahmadi people there, they were looking at me as if like, oh gosh, is this guy not with the program or what? Doesn't he know that nobody stands up here? Nobody's allowed to stand up and talk against some Jamaat or some community, policy or something. Yeah, I did stand up and I did talk against it, and I said that was very wrong and I don't accept it. And I was telling everyone not to think that this man is bad. And this man, I come now to the one-way loyalty. This person, to be honest with you, Allah knows best, but I don't, it appears to me that, he's taken a stance, not to speak to me, or just to minimize contact, no more, we don't have a normal relationship anymore, and this is somebody, obviously I don't want to go too much into it, but I'm just saying, this is somebody that I stood up for myself and gave a lot of loyalty towards, as a Muslim, not because I'm some special person. These are characteristics of a Muslim. To have loyalty, to be sincere, to be honest, to have some integrity, to stand up when you see something is wrong, you stand up and say, no, that's wrong. Even if I'm doing something wrong in my life, I can't ever try and justify and say, no, what I'm doing is right. I know it's wrong. You can't, you must know that it's wrong, and don't try and trick yourself and say it's okay. But I stood up for this person, and you don't get the same thing back. And why? Because this person, just like many others born into Ahmadiyya, they're programmed. I don't hold that against this person. I still think this person's a nice human being and everything. But what I'm saying to anyone who is like that person is that you're giving one-way loyalty. You're not going to get it back. For example, my example that I've just given there, I've given this person all this sort of, publicly in front of people, publicly stood up in front of people to defend this person. But you don't get it back even in private. Even in private, that you don't get it back. So obviously, there must be many of you, many of the listeners, you're people who used to be in Ahmadiyya. And you must have experienced this. People cut you off. Some of you must have experienced getting divorced. And that must have been heartbreaking. You're married to someone, you tell them, look, this is the belief of this man. This is un-Islamic. I cannot continue in this, and I'm leaving it, and I have left it. You surely have to have some trust in me. You've lived with me every single day. You've lived with me, and I'm showing you this stuff. Trust me. Just read it and trust me. This is un-Islamic. You have to leave too. But they don't leave. And they end up getting divorced, for example, if it's husband and wife. Or if it's brother and sister, the brother and sister, they stop talking to each other, that sort of thing. You must have experienced it. Because this is a system of Ahmadiyya organization. It's a pre-planned thing. It's not an accidental thing. They have to make you cut off from everyone else because they don't want you to be polluted by people's thoughts. They don't want you, any Ahmadi to keep listening to someone who left Ahmadiyya and say and hear what that person's got to say, because that person could and probably would make that Ahmadi leave Ahmadiyya because of the things he's got to say about Ahmadiyya beliefs. The people who leave because of the Ahmadiyya beliefs, they leave it. The people they talk to after that, they will probably leave too. So the Ahmadiyya organization tries to make sure that no Ahmadis cut you off. You call it muqata, I believe. They cut you off from the next day. It's not like a gradual thing. They stop talking to you over like a year or two. It's a next day sort of thing. No more. We're not allowed to say salam to this person anymore. Nothing. I mean, this. I heard another case of. It's not even another case. It's the same individual person that I was speaking to you about. The one that I had a personal experience with. I heard that. I had somebody who I trust who was present at the time, and they told me what happened. Is that basically people who are Ahmadis, they had heard of this person's name being said out in a meeting, and they actually called to the home where they were going to visit. They called before coming and said, if that person is there, we're not coming. If that person whose name was read out in the meeting is there at the house, we're not coming. Look at the one-way loyalty. Look at that blind obedience. I mean, they know who that person is. They, instead of coming and speaking to the person, even in private, just one of them, just speak privately and say, look, what exactly did you do wrong? And, are you okay with what happened? If you have done something wrong, do you know that it's wrong? Have you, hopefully, inshallah, may God forgive you or whatever, if it's something that is very serious. They didn't. They just straight away blindly ask, is that person there? Because if he is, we're not coming. That's the blind obedience that is required of Ahmadis. And if any Ahmadis are listening to this right now, ask yourself, why are you giving such blind obedience to your leadership and to Mirza Ghulam Ahmad? Why are you giving such blind obedience? Islam always tells you ask and verify and check. You haven't even verified or checked anything and you know that person. You just get told just like that, don't speak to them. Even if you know that person and you know that they're intelligent, trustworthy, nice, you say you don't want to speak to them? Where's the return loyalty? Where's your actual friendship? Where's your actual relationship? It's not there. And this is why when I speak about myself, I really don't care about the people who choose not to talk to me anymore, because they themselves prove that they're worthless to me. That they're actually worthless to me. Because they have no loyalty, no dignity, no honor, nothing. They just cut you off just like that. That means what sort of relationship did we have? We didn't have a relationship to begin with. The relationship is based around continuing to say that I believe in a false prophet called Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. As long as I carry on saying I believe in this false prophet, you're going to be my friend? And the minute I say to you I don't believe in this false prophet, you're no longer my friend. Well, I don't need your friendship. So, you have a lot of people, there are other people who even, I've heard stories, not stories, I've met individuals and heard their stories. People who have given everything to Ahmadiyya, born into it. They did this wasiyah thing, the will, they give 10% of their money because they really thought that, being buried in this Beheshti Maqbara, they really thought that that's like buying themselves a plot in heaven or something, which is hilarious because even in that Maqbara, you're not actually going to be placed on the grassy bit where there's beautiful trees and gawafa trees and all sort of thing. You're going to be buried in the mud down there, so you're buried around mud anyway. And how is that? Just think about it for a second and see that that's not no heaven or nothing, no heavenly graveyard or nothing. But this person had wasiyah. Knew Arabic, knew Urdu, went to Qadian, studied in Qadian, got married to someone from Qadian, loved Ahmadiyya to death, just loved it to death. And subhanallah, it was quite amazing actually that his wheels started turning in his brain, that once he started staying, he stayed a couple of days in Mirza Ghulam's rooms. I think there was one of them was called Bayt al-Ba'a and another one was called Bayt al-Riyad or something like that, spiritual training or something like that. And his brain actually started, the wheels, as you say, started turning in his brain, and he started thinking, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? When he started to hear, why is this room called this name, and what's the story, and some Ahmadis probably heard of the story of the red liquid that fell from the ceiling onto the paper that Mirza Ghulam had, and then Mirza said that this is Allah signing this paper and all this junk. So actually, this person gave everything to them, and I'm showing you how dedicated he was, because he actually stayed in Qadian for a while, got married to someone from Qadian. His whole life was Ahmadiyya. It was like his career or something. It was like his hobby, his career, everything in one. And the same day, not the minute, let's say the same day, that he just had some questions. He just had some questions saying, why did Mirza say this thing? Why did Mirza say this in the book? And don't forget, he knows Urdu very well. Fluent in Urdu, so he knows what he's talking about. The minute he pulled out these things, his fourth leader, Mirza Tahir, ordered for him to be cut off from everyone, and for him to basically to be cut off from the whole community, and that's it. So this person gave, I can't think of a better example of one-way loyalty than that. That very same day, friends, people that used to eat with him every single day, they didn't even say Salam alaikum to him anymore, or Ruddu Salam. They didn't even say alaikum as-salam when he said Salam alaikum. What example of loyalty is that? Once again, does he need those? Does this example? Did he need those people? Does he need friends like that? No, he doesn't. But of course, it's hurtful. Of course, it's hurtful for him and people like him. To think that these people are loyal friends. You pray together, you do jalsa together. Doing work, let's say for the Ahmadiyya community together, literary work, translation work, all this sort of stuff. And then you get cut off just like that. Just like that flick of a finger, you get cut off. It's extremely painful for the people. But I'm telling Ahmadis right now, do you think that's just? Do you think that's Islamic? Do you think that's a fair thing to do? Do you think this is how you show loyalty to human beings? Your loyalty is to Allah, number one. Your loyalty is to Allah, number one, not Ahmadiyya. Not Mirza Ghulam. Your loyalty is to Allah, number one, and His Messenger, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, number two. Not Mirza Ghulam. Not Mirza Ghulam. Not Mirza Masroor, Mirza Tahir, Mirza Bashir ad-Din, any of these people. None of these people. Your loyalty is to Allah, number one. So think about this. Think about your relationships. Is it worth cutting all these people off for this organization that one day could do you injustice and cut you off? If there are parents out there, if you're cutting off your son or your daughter or your relative or your brother or sister, is it worth cutting them off for the sake of your organization? And then one day you can get cut off. One day they can kick you to the curb. Because you are nothing to them. You're just a number. You're just an Ames number to them. Only if you're a big shot, only if you've got a lot, let's say you've got a lot of money and you're giving a lot of money to them and stuff, then they might take you like a valued customer. They'll take you seriously. They want to retain you as a customer. They don't want you to leave. But the small people who have a good intention, who think that they're following true Islam, you're just going to get trampled on. So think about it. Is it worth you cutting off the person who's loyal to you, like your family member loves you, is loyal to you and everything, but they left Ahmadiyya? Is it worth you cutting them off when they have so much loyalty towards you, more than your organization has loyalty to you? They are more loyal to you than your organization, than the Ahmadiyya organization is loyal to you. Think about it, weigh up in your brain, and you'll see that no, hell no, it's not worth cutting it off. Another closing point I wanted to say is that the Ahmadiyya organization, it makes people completely dependent on their Jamaat, their community. It makes people give everything. They dominate your time. They make you attend so many meetings, so many gatherings, do so much work. If they see people not attending and stuff, they try to give them some sort of position or responsibility to drag them back into the organization again. They make you give everything up. And if you are coming from a non-Ahmadi family, like myself, when I was in it, many people, I won't say they, I'll say many people who had sort of positions and things like that, they encouraged me. Actually, they were like, Oh, don't worry, your family's swearing at you, they're insulting you, they want to cut you off. Don't worry, just do dua, and you're going to get more hasanat. You're going to get more like blessings from God because you're getting insulted and stuff. Getting insulted for the sake of this liar, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, deluded liar, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. I should be happy and relax and let people swear at me and insult me for this liar. If Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was truthful, I'll get insulted all day long and I'll take it. But for a liar, you must be joking. No way. But they tried to get me to be completely dependent on them. They wanted, they gave me instant friends. Instantly you got friends, and just as I said earlier in the video, those friends, they go in as quick as they came, as quick as they went. As soon as you leave Ahmadiyya, they're gone. Those friends that, delete the number. You're not gonna see them again. They give you instant friends. They try to make you dependent on Mirza, their leader, their Khalifa, by saying, write letters to him, do dua to him. They try to centralize him in your life, as if he is a central figure in your life. No, that's wrong, that's haram as well, because that's near shirk now. You're bordering on shirk doing that. They try to make you dependent on him, do dua, go do mulaqat with him all the time, go keep meeting him all the time. They try to centralize him in your life. No, my central is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's my central. I centralize my iman, my time, my heart, my dua, everything is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to him. So they try to make you dependent. You give them your money. If you carry on Ahmadiyya for many, many years, you probably will end up losing your family if they're normal Muslims. They probably will cut you off. They will cut you off. They're going to say, you know what, to hell with this guy. We've tried. He's not listening. He's just going one way. He just wants to stay in Ahmadiyya forever now. Do you understand what I mean? So you give them one way. For example, when, as I say to you, they try to centralize. Even myself, one prominent person, I'm not going to say his name, but he was an imam. He's an imam. He told me, pray at the door, at Mirza Masroor's door. Pray at the door. I said to him, why on earth should I pray at the door for? Why? Who is this man? He's just a normal human being. What do you mean? He's head of your organization, but he's a normal human being. He's not linked to God or anything. He's just a regular human being made of flesh and blood just like us. They said, pray at the door. I said, why? Pray for what? The person just kept saying, oh, just pray. Later on you'll understand, just pray. And I said, no, I don't understand. Pray for what? I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, help me in my life, guide me in the straight path, that sort of thing. Why am I going to pray at the door of this man? Why should I do that for? He's just a normal man. And they said, oh, and then finally the person just gave a little feeble excuse. Oh, pray that the meeting goes well. Well, again, why do I need to pray that the meeting goes well? I don't care if it doesn't go well. If this is a man of God, why should I have to pray that the meeting goes well? If he's a man of God, that means he's going to be a good man, honest man, sincere man, loyal man, a man of integrity. So why do I have to pray that it goes well? Because I'm going to go very polite, be very honest, very polite, sincere with him. Why should I pray that it goes well? If he's a good man, it will go well. Why shouldn't it go well for? What, am I going to ask him for money or something? I'm not asking him for nothing. But they try to plant this whole thought of centralizing this, the Khalifa of Ahmadiyya. They try to put him as the central thing of your life. Like everything in your whole life revolves around him. Why? This is, I believe they refer to this sometimes as indoctrination, They try to basically change your whole belief system, your whole thinking, centralize this man as the center of your life. No, not Allah is the center. No, He's the center, but they'll never officially say it. Officially, Allah is the center. But in a subtle way, they try to put Him as the center of your life. Subtle. Ahmadiyya organization runs on subtlety. Most of the time, almost everything they do is subtle. It's not in your face. They don't come and spell it out to you. You see it. You see by their actions. Like you see in a lot of their events and stuff. They focus so much on Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. They focus so much on Mirza Bashir ad-Din, Mirza Tahir, all this sort of thing. And then just as if gratuitous, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Put that once or twice in there, but most of the thing is focused on Mirza Ghulam. But when you come and ask them, they say, no, the Holy Prophet is our master and he's our master-in-chief and he's the boss and all sort of thing. But in action, in practicality, they keep putting more emphasis on Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and their leaders. But again, it's subtle. As I say to you, if you want them to write it down for you, they're not going to write it down. They're not going to write down that we put more emphasis on our khulafa and, I don't call them khulafa, on our leaders and Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. They will not say that to you, but they'll do it in action. So they try to do this whole thing, and the whole reason why I'm telling you all this stuff is they try to make you dependent on them. They try to make you so attached and so dependent because, as I say, if you're coming from a Muslim family, your Muslim family, most likely, if you stay in it for many, many years, they'll probably end up cutting you off. And I met several people who were in Ahmadiyya, who their family cut them off. And because I was in there at the time, I felt very sorry. I felt very sorry for them. I was like, oh, this is so sad, you know. Why are they cutting you off for? Little did I know that I was the fool. I was the fool because I actually accepted Ahmadiyya not knowing the true beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. I'm the one who made the mistake. And now I know why the Pakistani government declares them as non-Muslim. I know now why, because of Mirza's writings. They're un-Islamic. They take you outside of this religion. So Mirza Ghulam should have just called his religion something else, not attached to Islam. And I believe that's the argument the Pakistani government makes. That they're just saying, call yourself any religion, don't affiliate yourself with Islam. And no one will even talk to you. But of course, the Ahmadiyya organization refuses to do that. So, back to our main point, they make you, the organization, Ahmadiyya organization, makes you dependent on them, make you give everything, make you lose your relationships and everything, and then what? And then what? Let's say you find out that it's wrong. And then what are they going to do? You leave, and they cut you off, left, right, center, you cut off. So you lost your family. You know, some people, let's say they were married before joining Ahmadiyya. He joined Ahmadiyya, his wife divorced him because she said, no, I'm not going to join that fake belief. You lost your marriage, for example. You lost your family. And now you realize Ahmadiyya is wrong. You lose Ahmadiyya, which good, that's good. But you've lost everything else in your life. So, in a lot of situations, what happens? You know what I'm going to say next. A lot of people, they end up not leaving Ahmadiyya. They end up not leaving Ahmadiyya because they're scared to be alone. They're scared that I have no family members, I've got nothing. At least here people know my name. You know, people, they give me a hug or something every time I see them in Jalsa or whatever. They feel like they're part of some family now. But these people, they didn't realize, they didn't look at the bigger picture and see that they were being forced to cut off everything in their life. And they were being cut out of their previous life and forced into the Ahmadiyya organization and centralizing Ahmadiyya in their life. And then when they realize it's wrong, some leave and face the consequences. Some do leave and face the consequences of having nothing, of all your friends are gone and everything. And some, they get scared and they don't leave. But may Allah give courage to those people. And may Allah give courage to all those people who are in the early stages of Ahmadiyya. Let's say you joined Ahmadiyya and you didn't realize what you've done. May Allah give you courage to stand up, check out our other videos, check out, there are other websites as well, offering genuine information. A few exceptional, they're not good, some of them, they don't translate properly or something like that. I wouldn't, I'm not fully trusting, their translations. If you read them, go verify it. But many websites out there, they are offering genuine, correct information about Mirza Ghulam's original beliefs, about the origins of Ahmadiyya, not the current modern appearance, the modern image of Ahmadiyya as you see it today, the image of true Islam and love for all, hatred for none. No, my dear brother, my dear sister, it's love for everyone who's not Muslim. It's love for all who are not Muslim, because they've completely cut off themselves from the normal Muslims, and they're fine with anything that's not Muslim, any Western, any religion, as long as you're not Muslim, because they can't handle it with the Muslims. They can't handle it. Especially when they come up against Urdu-speaking Muslims who can pull out stuff from Mirza Ghulam's writings to prove that Ahmadiyya is not Islamic, that Mirza Ghulam's beliefs are not Islamic. They don't want to keep facing that, so they don't like mixing with Muslims too much. They love mixing with everyone else. That's cool, because those people, they put on the whole front of, oh, we are the true Islam, and we are persecuted, and we are victims, and we're peaceful, and all this sort of junk that you see, this sort of false image that they keep giving the world. They give that to the non-Muslims, because the non-Muslim can't come back and say to them, oh, you know what, so-and-so, I've read this Promised Messiah of yours' books, and he's got un-Islamic beliefs. Is a Christian going to say that to you? Is a Hindu going to say that to you? Is a Jew going to say that to you? Is an atheist going to say it? He's not going to say that. So they love mixing with those sort of people and trying to snare some of those people, bring them into Ahmadiyya. And that's why some of the translations, some of the twisted, disgraceful tafsir of some verses of the Quran, like Surah As-Saff, where it says, glad tidings, talking about Sayyidina Muhammad, where it says a prophet called Ahmed, referring only to Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ's coming in the future. Obviously, if you look at the tafsir in the Ahmadi Quran, you see line upon line upon line upon line. Then they come and they say to you, oh yes, this can also refer to the promised Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. That would never fly with a Muslim. It would never fly with a Muslim. Muslim would never accept that. But they put it, they put that sort of thing to Western people who don't know nothing about Ahmadiyya. They don't know, they think this is just normal Islam. And they read it and they're like, oh wow, this verse in the Holy Quran, it can mean that it means this man here, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad from Qadian. That's how they probably say it. And they get confused. So that would never work with Urdu-speaking people, or even general Muslims who even have an elementary knowledge of Islam. Most Muslims, if you show them that tafsir, they're going to turn around and say, go away, you're poison. This Ahmadiyya is poison, go away from me. That's not true Islam. So inshallah, I'll bring this video to a close now. Obviously, as I go through the video, I don't actually have any notes. So as I think of things, I like to add them really quickly. But it's just, may Allah help anybody who is in a situation. And always remember that the Ahmadiyya organization wants you to fully trust them, but they won't return the loyalty to you. They want all your trust and your loyalty, your time, everything, and you won't get it back. Some people think they get it back because, like some people when the husband and wife, they get divorced and the wife stays in Ahmadiyya, they make her feel like a superhero, that she stayed in Ahmadiyya, she made such a big sacrifice. So maybe that person, maybe if that person ever listens, you think, oh wow, I've got something back from Ahmadiyya organization. Have you? Have you really? No, you haven't got nothing back. They've made you feel like a superhero, but who have you benefited? You've lost your marriage. You've lost your marriage just so that they can feel good about themselves, that that guy didn't win. He can leave, or we took his wife from him. We've still got that the children, all this sort of thing. Those children will get married as well in Ahmadiyya, probably give money as well. So we've still got a good, we didn't lose several members. We've retained our members here. They prove that, and it's an example, isn't it? Because in future, when a man says, no, I'm going to leave Ahmadiyya, he'll get warnings that every time you leave, the woman stays in Ahmadiyya. So he'll be like, oh shoot, what should I do? I'll just stay in Ahmadiyya then. So don't think that that's some reward, that you're getting, that's some sort of loyalty being given to you by the Ahmadiyya organization. You must be joking. That you're made to feel like a superhero? Think about it. Think about the practical consequence of what's happening. You have lost your marriage. And you are going to die. They might try and get you married to someone else. But do you want that? What if you loved your husband? Do you want that? Being forced to live with another man and have, probably children and everything in the future with another man? Why? Why? For falsehood. For falsehood. For Ahmadiyya, falsehood. Don't sacrifice your life and ruin your life for this organization. Stand for truth. Always trust in your Creator, Allah. If you really believe in Allah, then you will know that you can trust in Allah and you can leave falsehood. Allah did not create Ahmadiyya. Ahmadiyya is false and it created itself. Mirza Ghulam created it himself. So don't think that you're getting some sort of reward. Inshallah, I'll bring this video to a close now, brothers and sisters. And inshallah, please stay tuned. We've got more videos coming up, Iznillah. And of course, if we ever make any mistakes, may Allah forgive us. And inshallah, we don't make any mistakes in our videos. We do work very hard, especially with videos when we bring the translations or the pages of Mirza Ghulam's books. We work very hard. We double, triple check the translations. Inshallah, they're all correct. Please stay tuned for our next videos. This is Usama Sayyid from islamafterahmadiyya.com saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.